Meeting of December 21st, 2021 at 7 p.m. Join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance led by Sharon.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and for all.
First off, thanks to everybody for coming out in this weather. It's a
Really?
nice turnout given that.
Very nice.
Reviewing the housekeeping items. Board, when speaking, please move close to your microphone to ensure you are heard clearly for the YouTube streaming, and I request that citizens who speak to adjust the height and stand close to the microphone. There will be two opportunities for citizen comments. I will be requesting individuals stay within the 4 minutes in both citizen comment sections. Would appreciate everyone keeping their points concise. I would request that comments are made respectfully to the board. We are here to discuss the township's business. Citizen comments should pertain to specific issues, concerns, or policies they would like to bring to the board's attention. For the record, Policy 2.0 has specific guidelines for the citizens addressing the board and its individual members. No name calling or personal attacks, no shouting, abusive, threatening, or disparaging language will be accepted. Engaging in this type of conversation will require the supervisor to request the individual to return to their seat. I have allowed a wide interpretation of these items, but have received feedback recently to be more cognizant of the comments that are being made. I will try to do that going forward. To respect everyone's time, I strongly urge the board not to respond to public comments, but address them in the board comment section. Sometimes this is difficult, but this is not a debating stage between the citizens and board members. We have township business to conduct, and it's required that we do that effectively. If there needs to be a follow-up from the board, I will direct the appropriate person to reach out to that individual. The documents on the website are aligned to the items on the agenda. These are draft documents to provide background information only. Motions were drafted to help the board more quickly get to the final wording and vote on the respective motions. There are two additional items in the back, number 5 and number 8, that may be added to the agenda if the board approves it. The final motion may look different to reflect the actual action taken by the board. Board, we have 3 sets of minutes. Are there any changes to the minutes for the regular board meeting of November 16th, 2021?
I have one.
Oops.
All right, well, Jason, we'll start with you.
Section C, line 1, should be Andy Graves.
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
That's what I had.
And then
Alright.
is Bill Dvorak's last name spelled right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, any other changes? If not, I have one. We are not going to pay Mike Bertram $2,600 a month.
Where is that, please?
That is down in new business, number 3, item 3A, over on the far right-hand side, where it says 2,600, it should be 1,600. I'm sure Mike was hoping we would miss that, but we didn't.
Hmm.
If there's no other changes,
I have just a clarification.
Okay.
If you're right, you were at A, and I'm going to go down to B, that motion. I think it was clear that we said 2265 to 31, or did we mean the 515 to 350? Because that was the ambulance side of,
no, 2265 to 31.
okay, but there is a separation of
Well,
duty.
that's our
Okay,
bookkeeping
okay. I thought it was, and I went back and looked,
Yep.
and that's, okay. Just wanted a clarification.
Yeah. All right. If there's no other comments, I will make the motion to approve the November 16, 2021 regular board meeting minutes with changes. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jason. It is moved and seconded to approve the regular board meeting of November 16th, 2021 with changes. Any further discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Are there any changes to the minutes for the special board meeting of November 8th, 2021 related to our policies discussion? I will start with, I don't have any changes. I want to say that in going through the minutes, they were very detailed, and I felt that they covered all the major items that were involved, and I have no changes. Does anyone else have any comments or changes?
No, I did all those comments.
You did or did not?
I
She
dittoed.
dittoed,
Oh, okay.
ditto.
I agree with your comments.
All right. Hearing no other comments, I will make the motion to approve the November 8, 2021 special board meeting minutes as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second those.
Thank you, Kathy. It is moved and seconded to approve the special board meeting November 8th, 2021 as presented. Any further discussion regarding the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We'll move on. The minutes for the next item are older, and we missed them in the November meeting. Are there any changes to the minutes for the special board meeting of October 29th, 2021 that were also related to our policies discussions? And again, I will start that there was significant detail. I read through them. I didn't see anything that popped out, and I have no comments or changes. Anyone else?
I have no changes.
All right. Hearing that, I will make the motion to approve the October 29, 2021 special board meeting minutes as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Sharon. It is moved and seconded to approve the special board meeting of October 29, 2021 as presented. Any further discussion regarding the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are done with minutes, board. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next agenda item, Kathy, announcements.
I had nothing.
All right. Moving on to the next item, approval of the agenda. Board, any changes to the agenda, which is the one that I sent out that was revised on Monday morning at 9:30 a.m.
Right.
Hearing none, I have two. I would like to add under board action, item number 8, we're adding a part-time employee for scanning, Abigail Peterson, whose application was submitted on 12/20/21. Since she is willing to work over the Christmas holiday and after school for 5 to 10 hours per week, I felt we should address this now rather than having to call a special meeting. In addition, I would like to add item number 5 under board discussion, which is the preliminary 2022 budget schedule. Any other changes? Hearing none, I make the motion that the agenda be accepted as presented with changes. Is there a second, please?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Kathy. It is moved and seconded that the agenda is accepted as presented with changes. Any further discussion regarding the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm just a little bit confused, if you don't mind. Item 5 was already on there, and I already went through my packet, and it's pretty much the same thing, isn't it? For the new stuff? I didn't look through the new stuff, but
I had to make the change from the agenda that I sent out on the morning. I sent out the information for the board, but I had to adjust the agenda because the agenda
Oh,
didn't
okay.
have that item
oh,
at that time.
okay, because I had it. So,
That's why I specifically said Monday morning at 9:30.
oh, gotcha. Thank you.
Yep,
So really, the new thing is this new employment here then?
yes.
Thank you.
All right, moving on.
I don't think we voted.
All right.
You made the motion, I seconded.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
I think
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you,
I think
Kathy.
it
Yep.
was. It was, Kathy.
Well, you said you were confused. I thought that was before we voted.
No, it's after
All
we
right,
voted.
good.
That's fine. We passed it twice.
Then, yeah, it must really be good.
All right. Moving on to the next agenda item. Citizen comment. Please respect the 4-minute limit. Also, board, as a reminder, this is not citizen debate. Board members can respond during the final board comment section of the agenda. Thank you.
Commissioner
We-
Rubing?
Jairus.
Oh, it's on.
Yep, now it
Yep.
is.
Yeah, I passed out a paper that shows what different townships' road millages were last year. And if any of the public would like it, it's also listed on the Antrim County website. If you go under equalization, that's where they keep track of the different millages and what they go for. I just had some different township people that were interested in it. And I thought it was kind of interesting. One of the townships passed it for 10 years, so they don't have to worry about it till 2030. But each township does it differently. Each township, a lot of the townships are one millage, or one mill. And other than that, the Antrim County is looking for a couple of licensed builders to sit on the Construction Code Board of Appeals. I think we're 3 people down right now. And it's one of those committees that doesn't meet very often. I think most of the time they meet on a, what they call an as-needed basis. If somebody has an appeal, then the committee will meet. But if somebody does appeal, it's nice to have a full committee to hear their appeal or their complaint. So I already am trying to twist Mr. Peterson's arm back there. So if you know anybody else or that's in the building, and then they do need to be licensed. I
Thank
think
you.
that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have one more, I think.
Yeah, Mr. Kulka, Jerry Kulka?
Yeah, good to see everybody. Jerry Kolka, 2341 San Marino Trail, right down the road here. Anyways, I want to talk about UTLA. For start, I'll keep it within the 4 minutes. I recognize how valuable the time is and to do that. I'm here to dispel rumors about UTLA, especially its demise, present a brief history of UTLA, including the importance of the community, which most of you do know because of the history of it, and what happened on the double booking of our meeting time, and plus offer a solution, or proposed remedy. Put this down. I think it would be a major loss to the community if UTLA goes away. It has done valuable things for the community and has received strong support from the board. Rumors, no, UTA is not dead. It is still functioning, and I'm keeping the bills paid and receipts deposited. We do get some receipt coming in because the chairs and the tables, people use them, and we collect the money for it, put it aside. I got 19 months of reports already due to COVID that kept saying the same numbers practically through every time. However, due to COVID-19, UTLA has not had regular meetings. UTLA did try to have 2 meetings, October and November, but its spot was not protected by Torch Township and was given away. I'll talk more of that later. UTLA was incorporated, and I was amazed too when I went back, find out when it was, October 25th, 1946. And has updated it on March 6, 2006. The original incorporation was for fire department and ambulance-related services. Then it became now more the community. We reach out community. We do help a lot of 501c3s currently. It is an incorporation. I will provide you with some papers at the end of this that has more detail and also copies of the original incorporation first paid and then the new changes that occurred later for records. One of the signers of the 206 document was somebody we all know, loved, and respected, Harold Cruzy. Harold was a fantastic person. He was instrumental in keeping UTLA going and being active. Anyways, most of UTLA history I was not around, but I heard some really good things that did before I even arrived and became treasurer of UTLA for the last 6 years. Some of the things it did was the old building, and Sharon can vouch for this or correct me if I'm wrong, but the old building over there in the land, UTLA was very instrumental in getting it, helping build it. And when it was sold, a lot of the money went to reduce our mortgage on this building. So a lot of UTLA is invested in what went on here. Also heard a lot of fire equipment was bought before and maintenance of what's activities going on. If Alan was here, I would also refer to him for some of the history. But it was very instrumental in keeping the fire department going and also after that for other activities. I've been treasurer for 6 years, and a couple of things I want to point out. We donated $2,000 to buy some equipment for the fire department that looks at a wall and can tell if a fire is behind it. It's a sensor that goes through. I know the fire department people here can explain much better than I could. We also donated $2,000 to help build the memorial for veterans, wounded warriors in our cemetery. So UTLA also gave that much money. Sorry. Also, UTLA donated to food banks, and I've been here. We also donated to other nonprofits and kept going. Charities donation was put aside for the last about 19 months because of COVID. We need the members' way of structure. The members of UTLA has to agree to whatever donate money. The president and I cannot go ahead and just donate it. We need their input and authorization. UTA also be to continue the community support. We have our potlucks. One of the things that got me into UTLA was coming to the potlucks, meeting some great people like Harold and others. Elva Cavo, and it just was a great thing. It still is.
1 minute, Jerry.
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, I quick around a little bit more. Okay.
I know.
Double booking. Okay.
We're trying to get through the meeting.
I understand. I will go real quick then. Thank you for telling me. Okay, we had double booking. We know about that. Requested from you, Sharon, to change the meeting date. I met with Deb, who's the president, and us who are the active people on the board, and we decided to come up with a proposal of the first Monday in every month, starting in May. We're not going to do it till May because of COVID-19. So that's what we're proposing for you. And then we're also on here, I'll hand this copy out to you to quickly go to what UTA wants from you. LTL, George Lake Township, no change to the UTL, no charge to the UTLA for the room, no forms to be filled out by us, automatically reserve the meeting room monthly for UTLA on the first Monday of each month, starting in May. UTLA will have priority over other groups for that date, except the facility is needed by George Lake Township, as in the past. You could get bumped. Announce and constant contact any upcoming UTLA meetings and see if we can put UTA on the website too as an organization. So I quickly ran through the last minute. Hopefully I'm still within the time, and I respect the need for it. In the packet that I'm going to give you has the cover of the incorporation paper and the 206. Changes that we have, authorization to help the community. So
Thanks,
it's still a
Jerry.
viable organization. Because you have the copy. And I have some extra copies I will put into that. Excuse me.
That night they had the conflict. Was that like a one-time only for the other group?
Just cut you guys pass mine down.
Okay. I'll catch you later on that, Kelly. You can just leave the whole, is that a whole packet for us?
No, there's more than that. So that should be.
Okay.
Give them that.
think that's a whole packet.
That's fine, thank you. There you go. All right, that concludes citizen comments.
Right.
We will now move to the consent agenda. Does anyone wish to pull any of the reports?
Fire department
Fire
and
department
the ambulance.
and ambulance. All right, any others? If not, all other reports are accepted by consent. All right, Sharon?
I have nothing to say except that it's been a very busy month for the fire department and the ambulance. We want to give kudos to those long hours and windstorms and everything else going on. The report shows that it was a busy month. So thank you. And that's all I have to pull that report, those two reports.
All right, very good. So, board, I make the motion to accept the fire and ambulance reports as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Sharon. It is moved and seconded to accept the fire and ambulance reports. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we will move on. We'll start special reports, and Jason, for a change, I get it right. You get to go first.
And my meeting was canceled, so I don't have much to say.
I guess that's why I remembered you went first.
Jason, clarify for me, was that the November meeting was canceled?
The December meeting.
December, thank you.
All right, Kathy, FOIA.
Yeah, we're down to one active FOIA, which we are waiting on a response from our IT company. So we're making progress with FOIA, wading through the FOIAs.
All right, thank you. The financial overview. As I have indicated in the past, the detailed financial report is on the website. Any questions regarding the financials can be directed either to myself or the clerk's office. Briefly, we have begun receiving our winter tax receipts, but they are not yet reflected
I don't know
in
where
our
to put it.
financial results.
The
Sorry?
clerk, my report didn't make the packet, but I know you copied them. The clerk report is not in the packet.
No, it should be.
Well, I got my report before you did your report, so.
I don't have one.
All right, well, I'll make sure you get one.
Okay, well, I have it.
Yeah, I think I had it's in the packages. I
Okay,
thought that
Yeah,
we
I
had
knew
gone
you
on.
ran them off for the other packages, so.
Yeah,
We
well,
got
hang
our packet before the report was done,
Un-
so,
Understood.
so that's the only thing I was missing.
on. You would have had a copy anyway, right?
Who, Kathy?
Yeah,
Yes,
because she would have generated the report. Do you want a copy?
no, I say I don't need it. I'm just saying it's not in.
Your packet. All right, Kath. Got it. All set? So I'll continue. The treasurer's report indicates a balance in the general fund of $935,000. For the fire fund, $359,000. The ambulance fund is $331,000. And the road fund, $158,000. Year-to-date expenses in total have been running below budget, and overall, we were favorable to the budget by $374,000. Looking at the funds, the general fund is favorable to budget by $140,000, primarily due to the partial payment of the federal grant of $62,000 and lower expenses in day park operations. Related to the fire department, we were favorable by $86,000, and I believe after some capital expenditures, we will end up slightly favorable against the budget for the year. The ambulance fund is favorable in part to the increased run fees that included a catch-up from 2020. Expenses will be over as capital expenditures will be above budget due to our getting that extra lift. While we also had some catch-up on contract services and supplies from 2020, and we're targeting wage-related expenses to be on budget. In total, I think overall we'll be on budget for ambulance. The road fund had some projects delayed, changed, or put off, and the dollars in the fund will be used for the 2022 projects already identified and communicated to Antrim County Road Commission. At this point, I think overall for the township, we should be close to budget by the fiscal year end in March. As mentioned, feel free to call me or the clerk's office for any additional information. All right, that's the financial overview. Moving on to the next item, which is agenda for the board action. We have no old business. We have 8 items to consider under new business. The board has had a lot of supporting material to review, so we can take our time going through this if we need to. All right. First item. Are there any questions related to the proposed dates for the board's 2022 schedule?
I reviewed them twice. I make the motion to approve the proposed dates for the 2021 Torchlight Township regular board meeting schedules as listed.
I'll second that. The motion has been made and seconded to approve the proposed dates for the 2022 Torchlight Township regular board meeting schedule as listed. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, that will.
Aye.
I didn't hear
I
Jason.
didn't hear him either.
Jason,
Well, wanted to know who scheduled the meeting on opening day.
On
gun
the
season.
15th, I was going to ask for Alan because he's not here.
a non-hunter, I guess.
That's
Time-
the way,
How
that's
many
the way
days
it
do you have
fell.
to hunt?
Not enough.
Then
You
one
can't-
less isn't going to make any difference.
You know what we used to always say, you can't hunt in the dark.
That is true. Time change will have happened by then, so.
All right. Let's go to item number 2. You guys are great. All right, board. Sharon, I'm going to start with you. Do you want to highlight any of the specific resolutions before we take them individually?
No, not really.
Okay.
I could just, I've got the reports if anyone has any. I mean, there are other little miscellaneous and minor things, but some of these are the bigger ones. But then anything that has to do with salary, like Social Security, pensions, even though they're low amounts, some of them on the adjustments, I don't like any payroll of federal or state or any types of taxes that we need to owe in a negative balance. So those were taken care of on here too. So I did some journal entries and reversed them because Bob's spreadsheets here don't coincide with my banking and his banking, and I should say
You were going to,
bookkeeping, I should say, not banking.
I was going to say, you were going to torpedo my financial reports
Yes.
for the rest of the year. All right. Does anybody of the board have questions for Sharon?
Did everybody go through those numbers and accurately look at them again, or? I went through them like 2 weeks worth. I can't look at them anymore.
Sharon, I just made the assumption if we have to come back for more money, you'll let us know.
Well, I meant the count numbers. Anybody verify those? Because,
No,
all right.
you're the treasurer. I expect those to be right. All right.
So we are doing these separately.
I think we should.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we've always have.
Well, because this sheet,
I'm,
which is
that's
why
why
you've
I
given
just
me
gave you
this
the
one.
other
I'm just asking.
all right. So I'll make the motion to approve the budget amendment, resolution number 2021-33 for the amounts as presented for a total of $159,350. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, the motion has been moved and seconded to approve the budget amendment, resolution 2021-33 for the amounts as presented for a total of $159,350. Any discussion related to the motion? Hearing none, Kathy, would you conduct a roll call, please?
I will. Jason,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes,
Myself says yes, and Bob?
Yes?
That motion is approved 4-0, with
Two.
Alan being absent.
2-0.
4-0. Never mind,
4-0.
4-0.
Okay.
All right. I make the motion to approve the budget amendment, Resolution 2021-34 for the amounts presented for a total of $2,500. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jason. The motion has been moved and seconded to approve the budget amendment, Resolution number 2021-34 for the amounts presented for a total of $2,500. Any further discussion related to the motion, board? Hearing none. Kathy, would you please conduct a roll call vote?
I will. Jason?
Yes.
Sharon?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Bob?
Yes?
The motion is approved 4-0.
All right. I make the motion to approve the budget amendment, Resolution 2021-35 for the amounts presented for a total of $41,500. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. The motion has been moved and seconded to approve the budget amendment, Resolution number 2021-35 for the amounts presented for a total of $41,500. Any further discussion related to the motion? Hearing none, Kathy, would you conduct the roll call vote?
I will. Sharon?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Bob?
Yes?
And Jason?
Yes.
That motion is approved 4-0.
I make the motion to approve the budget amendment, Resolution number 2021-36 for the amount presented of $300. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jason.
And that was because we had some supplies. Obviously, it goes in there.
Well, that also was not a big item, so.
Right, and
it
it
popped
would have
out.
put us way over, it would have put that fund, that over budget. We, every now and then, we have to get the state supplies and we get them in quantity, so that, we ran out.
I thought it was the paper budget.
Yeah.
Another shot across the bow for this gang.
Who
All right.
Who approved that and who seconded
Mr.
it?
Merchant and
Mr. Merchant.
Mr. Cook made the motion.
The motion has been moved and seconded to approve the budget amendment resolution number 2021-36 for the amount presented of $300. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Kathy, please conduct a roll call vote.
I am first. I will say yes. Bob?
Yes?
Jason?
Yes.
And Sharon.
Yes.
And that motion is approved 4-0.
Great. You ready? Okay. I make the motion to approve the budget amendment, resolution number 2021-37 for the amount presented of $7,000. Do I have a second?
Nature Fund, I'll second that.
Thank you, Kathy. Motion has been moved and seconded to approve the budget amendment, resolution number 2021-37 for the amount presented of $7,000. Any other discussion related to the motion? Hearing none. Kathy, would you have a roll call vote? please?
Yes, Bob.
Yes?
Jason?
Yes.
Sharon?
Yes.
Myself, yes. That motion is approved 4-0.
Thank you, board. Moving to item number 3. Sarah, I would ask that you come forward and give the board just an overview of the Chapter 20 changes that I believe the prior ZBA team had presented to the Planning Commission.
I don't know if that's on. Is that on?
I think so, yeah.
Yes. Yes, so Chapter 20 has to do with the Zoning Board of Appeals, and annually or every so often, the Zoning Board of Appeals reviews the ordinance, their applications, everything. related to their business, and they did propose some changes to the zoning ordinance. The Planning Commission reviewed this, recommended approval after having a public hearing. It was forwarded to the county, and the county did the same. So a lot of it is kind of housekeeping, cleaning up of items. Some are related to the training session that Steve Langworthy put on for the township back in May or June. So we took some of those in, and kind of to clear up some of the language related to granting variances, to make sure that it's clear or as clear as possible when the ZBA is dealing with those applications. So in your packet, I put in an ordinance that deals just with the changes, but then also a complete chapter 20 so that you could see how all the words fit into the whole chapter, because it's a little confusing when I start pulling sentences out for you to read it in its entirety. So if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer those.
Okay.
Board?
I went through it. I didn't have any questions.
Yeah, I sat through the meeting, so
I
know
did too.
the ZBA did a nice job, thorough job of going through it. All right, well then I will make the motion. Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, I
To
went
adopt
the
ordinance number 2021-9, changes to chapter 20 of the Torch Lake Township zoning ordinance, and have
You
the
say
clerk
no?
publish in the Elk Rapids News within 15 days.
So what number is that again, please?
2021-9,
9? And this needs to be published soon then.
within 15 days. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, the motion has been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 2021-9, changes to chapter 20 of the Torch Lake Township zoning ordinance, and have the clerk publish in the Elk Rapids News within 15 days. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Kathy, would you conduct a roll call vote?
Yeah, there's a question.
No, no. We're moving through this. You can make a board or a citizen comment at the end of the day. Yes. All right. Yeah, we include all the documents. Okay. All right, so Kathy, will you follow through on a roll call
I
vote,
will.
please?
Sharon?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Bob?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Thank you, board.
So that one is approved 4-0, 4-0.
Moving on to the big item. Item number 4.
Can you wait 1 second, please?
Yep, take your time.
Not too far.
Sarah, did I get a summary to put in the paper? Thank you. That's all I'm waiting for. Thank you. You could go on.
You're all set?
Yeah.
All right. For item number 4, I first want to thank Bob Spencer, who drove this project to completion, and he did not drive it over the cliff. His tireless efforts are greatly appreciated, and the community is fortunate to have an individual willing to spend so much time, especially personal time in the summer, to help establish these policies for the board's governance. Bob, I want to thank you again on behalf of myself and of the board.
Yes, thank
Did a
you.
great job.
Thank you,
It's a lot
Bob.
of work. It was a lot of work.
We held a lot of meetings and you had a lot of work with David Revore, so pass our thanks on to him as well.
Hopefully it was a labor of love.
You keep that mask on so we don't know if you're lying or not. All right.
Okay, what's next on your agenda, though? Jill, what does he get to do next?
Time out.
Time out?
All right, board. We had one open item to review, which was Article 16, which I've included the red line version in your packet.
Can I have one question?
How about if I said no?
Well, I guess we
Go
don't.
ahead, but
The very first page of this document, the very, very first
oh,
page.
the resolution?
Yes.
It's,
they use Torch Lake Township Hall. We've always used it as a community building. So is that anything we need? I think we talked about that before. I don't think it was changed, but anyway,
No, the
but
the
it's,
resolution was new. So if you've caught that, we can make that adjustment.
okay,
Because we're
well,
going to have to fill it out after we vote on it anyway.
but it also talks about at the board tonight being at the Township Hall. So maybe that's okay. I don't know, but it was just a comment.
All
All
right.
right, let's move on.
Number 16.0, video surveillance policy. The passing of this policy will allow us to initiate all of the cameras in our recording that have been sitting there for a couple of months, thanks to the effort of Bill getting it done and in place. Board, you've had a chance to go through the comments in red. Do we have any
Yeah,
changes?
I compared it to my notes from that meeting.
Yep.
Everything looked all right. We talked a lot about C, and I think it reads okay the way I had my notes. So I'm okay with all that.
All right. Jason, you're good? Kathy? Good. I am fine as well. So as part of our process, board, all in favor of moving this to the resolution package, say aye.
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 Opposed? So 16.0 has been approved, is now part of the resolution package. We will now move to approving the resolution package. I will open up for comments. Any,
Maybe
As
that's
you
where I
went
should, maybe
through-
that's where I should have done it.
I kind of went through at a very high level
16.
the other 15 items, and I think Bob, David's staff did a tremendous job in capturing everything. At this point, I would like to make the motion to approve Resolution 2021-38, adopting the Torch Lake Township policies and procedures, Articles 1 through 16 as presented. Do I have a second?
I
I'll
will
second.
We fight over it? What'd you get?
Which one?
You can have it, Sharon.
Sharon can second it then. All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the resolution 2021-38, adopting the Torch Lake Township policies and procedures, Articles 1 through 16. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Kathy, would you conduct a roll call vote, please?
Indeed. Sharon?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Bob?
Yes?
And Jason?
Yes.
Thank you, board. And thank you for 2.5 months worth of work on getting this thing done.
Now, what is the next step? He'll put it all in binder form and get it to us and,
We'll get a master copy and we'll put binders together for each board member and then one for the office,
okay.
so that then there will be no excuse not to follow our policies.
So every board member will have one, or every department will have one type of thing? And then we can just pass it on down
We're
to,
just going to
yeah,
get.
figure it out. We'll
we're
figure it
gonna
out.
get one master copy, Sharon, and we
Okay.
can make as many copies as we want.
gotcha.
All right, moving to item number 5.
Hold on just a second here.
No, this is,
Let me know when you're ready. All right, this is one of our favorite FOIA subjects of the last couple of months. Are there any questions related to the proposed elimination of cell phone stipends for all elected officials and department heads? Anybody disagree? Want to add any comments associated with that?
I have no comments and I agree with it. And when I talked to Mr. Martell, he agreed with it also.
All right. Hearing none, I will make
okay.
the motion to amend the benefits/group insurance plan ordinance number 2019-04 and replace it with the benefits/group insurance plan ordinance number 2021-6. Section 3, Item 4, cell phone quarterly stipend is hereby removed with renumbering of items 5 to item 4, item 6 to item 5, and item 7 to item 6. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Sharon.
So this will be typed up again or just,
It will be typed up again.
okay.
I will make the motion to amend the benefits group insurance plan ordinance number 2019-04 and replace it with the benefits group insurance plan ordinance number 2021-6 with section 3, item 4, cell phone quarterly stipend is hereby removed with renumbering of items 5 to item 4, item 6 to items 5, and item 7 to item 6. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Kathy, would you have a roll call vote, please?
Okay, I apologize. I didn't get the second on that. Sharon?
Sharon did.
Okay. Okay, and speaking of Sharon,
Yes.
myself, yes. Bob?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Thank you, board. When you're ready, Kath, we'll move on.
My only comment is that it should be police power ordinance number 2021-6. Just a minor technicality.
All right.
Okay. I got too many number 5s here. I don't. All right. And this is number 5 also. All right, so we're on number 6, correct?
Yep.
Thank you.
Any questions related to the nomination of Jackie Peterson to the Board of Review? Hearing none. My comment is I worked with Todd on this. I've reviewed the statutes that he recommended, and we see no conflict on the part of the Assistant Zoning Administrator being a part of the Board of Review. So hearing no further comments, I make the motion to accept the nomination of Jackie Peterson to replace Cole Schumacher, who resigned as a member of the Board of Review. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Sharon. The motion has been moved and seconded to accept the nomination of Jackie Peterson to replace Cole Shoemaker, who resigned as a member of the Board of Review. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Kathy, would you conduct a roll call vote on this?
Okay, I'm first on that one, and I will say yes. Bob?
Yes?
Jason?
Yes.
And Sharon?
Yes.
Thank you, board. Let me know when you're ready.
Now I'll get her signed up for training that we need to do.
Yep. You ready, Kath? All right, Sharon, number 7 is all yours.
School. I thought it was just a minute here. Oh, I don't have it in front of me here because it's in my pile of 5s here too. But anyway, nothing's changed. We have the Central Lake schools, the Elk Rapids schools with piggyback, what was formerly called the TBA ISD school is now called, here I don't have it, Northwest.
Northwest Education.
Northwest, they changed their name. I don't know if anyone's aware of
Services.
that. School people there, but they always piggyback off of Elk Rapids. So it's the same contract we've had probably for the last 15 years with the schools for the summer tax collection. So I make a motion to approve that resolution.
This one, okay.
Any questions from the board?
I'll second.
So I think this is the motion you want to make the motion to accept the agreements
Yeah, I
presented.
don't have it in front of me.
That's right, I'll read it. The motion to accept the agreements presented for collection of 2022 summer school property taxes of $2.50 per
Here it
parcel
is.
with Central Lake Public Schools, Elk Rapids Public Schools in conjunction with
Northwest
Northwest
Education.
Educational
Mhm.
Services, formerly TBA ISD. Motion by Sharon, seconded by
Jason.
Jason. So Kat,
All right. And let's see.
I think we can do this by, do you need a roll call for the school districts?
I'm trying to think, in the past, we did them individually, but because of the motion was to do them both, it doesn't matter because it'll be in the minutes as all of them. And they need the copy of the minutes, so I'll highlight their
Yep.
school and send it on with the contract. So I think it's okay.
All right.
We don't need to do it individually.
All
I don't see a need to do it individually, so.
So all in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Move to item number 8.
Okay, hold on.
I'll get all your signatures on these when I'm tomorrow. or
That's fine.
whatever.
Yep. Let me know when you're ready, Kat.
Go ahead.
I get just a second to read it? I just started reading it. It's New one. And it says that she'll be able to work.
She'll be able to work the Christmas holiday, essentially next week. And then in talking with Jackie, that she would be available, 5 to 10 hours a week after school based on her schedule. And we can work that out with, Linda usually is going by 3, so it would be working in conjunction with Virginia on the
Okay.
scanning project.
Okay,
She has little experience, so once we get her set up, she might be able to run on her own as long as we lay out the work ahead of time for her. So I'll let Virginia work through those details.
how much more scanning we've got to do in this project?
Probably another 9, 10 months. I mean, I think they're pretty much done with the ZBA office, but now we got all the assessors. Amy said she could give us one of her people that know how to run the scanning, so that will help us get through that pile of stuff. And then it will be the normal documents of the township and the financial documents that we can run that through the copier, that scanning for the accounting invoices, things of that sort.
So the clerk's office will be in conjunction with all that too then?
That's right. Virginia will be working on the clerk's office.
They've started.
Yeah. So, all right. So I will make the motion to approve the hiring of Abigail Peterson as a record scanner at $12 per hour effective December 22nd, 2021. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jason. The motion has been moved and seconded to approve the hiring of Abigail Peterson as a record scanner at $12 per hour effective December 22nd, 2021. Any further discussion of the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you, board. That concludes new business. Next item on the agenda is board discussion. All right. Item number 1, revisit the Torch Lake Township Police Enforcement Program. I would like to discuss the possibility of establishing a 4-year millage program of between 0.25 and 0.4 mils to finance a police officer position for patrolling our streets and monitoring the day park. This position would be similar to what Central Lake has without any requirement to enforce our zoning ordinances. I will be working with Bill Peterson on a budget to be presented with the millage proposal for our January meeting. The millage vote will allow the board to know whether or not our citizens are interested in this function for our township. I have done an informal survey of a very small population group, and there seems to be a high interest, especially with people that are leaving, that they think it would be a great thing. I think Bill and I have spent some time looking at this, and we brought this up 2 or 3 years ago in the board when we weren't having very much success finding an ordinance enforcement officer. So I bring it up as discussion. I will present a motion or resolution at the next board meeting, but I would like your input if you have things you would like to include or other considerations.
We've been looking for this type of position. We've called it different things, but we've been looking for somebody. We've been looking for someone for a long time now, for a while now. And I think it's because we feel that there's, in this changing environment, there's a necessity for a police type person for our township. And so yes, I think I would definitely be in favor of pursuing this. And I agree with what you're saying, to put this on a ballot, right?
Yes.
To get the opinion of the community, to see if they would support it or not, to see how they feel. I've always felt safe up north, but times are changing, so.
Any other comments?
Is this a full-time position all year round?
This would be a full-time position with firearm capability.
So like right now, this time of year where we have no restaurants, we have no motels open, we have no parks open, we need a police officer?
Well, that's one of the things that this person would be doing, is doing a lot of the road reviews of homes that are vacant. We've got a number of roads in which you have 1 or 2 homes on it. You've got a lot of vacant property. There is a past experience of people coming and finding people living in their homes and they didn't know it. So,
Yeah,
well, I'm just saying that's one of the things. So,
I think it's a little extreme in my opinion, but.
all right. That's
Yeah,
fine.
you're not gonna, I mean, if somebody's breaking into somebody's home, you're not gonna have a police officer sitting there waiting for it anyway. So kind of piggyback off of you, Jason, there. You'll never know. I have pros and cons on this idea. We're a very small township. To have a full-time police department with a police car and guns and everything that goes along with it. I've never been a person that thought we ever needed a full-time police department. And there's townships much larger than ours with much more population. So I'm a pro and con, but I guess if it's something that you've heard from people that have been for it. I've had some people against it. So it's not a one-way street by no means. So we could have more discussion. This is new on our agenda, so I would like to have more time to
Well,
digest it and
yeah, I need
and
to come
talk.
back. I need to come back with numbers, but the idea is I wanted to get your feedback. And, once again, it's one of these things that, given we know our sheriff department's understaffed, and it's just one of the things, if people feel they want it, then they'll vote for it. If they don't, then they won't. But the idea is, we've kicked it around for 3 years. let's put it out to the public.
But
and
we've
resolve it.
never gone to that level of a police department. We've
Well,
never
we
kicked that
started-
around to a level.
Yeah, but Bill and I started that 2.5, 3 years ago.
For
And-
a part-time position type
No,
of
that was
scenario.
the full-time.
Oh.
In fact, we were going to pay the full-time with the sheriff's department. We were going to cover the cost for a full sheriff to cover our township. And again, we kicked it around and it died on its natural death. So,
Well, I know even the villages that have a village and a millage and everything, they're even struggling, even getting police officers and keeping them in the budgets and everything else. So it's not a new concept of police departments getting enough graduates, if you might, I might say, getting through in this environment for sure. But I need more time to consider it.
no, yeah, absolutely.
Do we know how many break-ins we had over the winter
It's on the
time
re-
last year?
It's on a report
It's-
here.
It's on your 911 report.
I looked at it.
And you'd have to go back and look for the full year.
Well, in a police department of one person, I mean, a department implies we're going to have 80 people, we're talking about one person.
Where's that one
correct?
person going to be? I mean, we already have a substation, so are we going to add on to this building? Are they going to use a substation? There's a lot of things I've kicked around in my
Absolutely.
head.
Sharon, it's the whole thing is, I'm not here to argue about it.
Yeah.
I'm here to say
Right.
that
I
I'm
said
going to
there's
bring it up.
There's a lot of thought that needs to
Yep.
go behind this.
And it may very well be that we have to set up a small committee and think about it for a month and work through all those things. I'm happy to start something like that, but there's not that much time with the holidays between now and the January meeting. So, but I
So,
also want to make sure we don't miss a window to get it on a ballot this year.
and that would be the August primary ballot.
So we have some time. I think it's 90 days prior to the ballot that we would have to get it in. I won't swear to that. But anyway, the idea is I'm putting it before the board that I'm going to be bringing it up.
I'm going to ask Jason and Sharon, are you objecting to having it on the ballot at all?
Kathy, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Item number
Okay.
two.
It's just brand new.
Well, I mean, okay.
Remember, it's just,
Don't put me on the spot.
I, well,
know.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
all right. Second item. I've got the authority to spend the money that was presented by Mike, but I wanted the board's input. We've had a favorable response to our streaming. We've also had some feedback from it. So I asked Mike, based on his conversations of people that have come back and talked to him, to put something together that would enhance the experience of our streaming for the public. And so, Mike, I'll just ask if you would come up for a couple of minutes. Give us a little feedback on what people have kind of said to you on suggestions and how your estimate was put together to address that.
Sure. Well, the feedback from people said while the audio is quite good now, they're having a hard time seeing who's talking
So
with the
far
video
back.
way back there. So what this proposal says is to put a video camera back here that has zoom capabilities to focus right in on everybody up here. And another one back maybe in this corner to look at the person who's giving public comment. And that would be a picture-in-picture, which would turn on and off as public commentary is made.
Okay, so this cost estimate would be the complete setup, wiring and everything, and you would be the one doing that.
Correct.
Okay, great.
Does
Any
that,
questions for Mike?
we had issues with hearing in the audience. That doesn't, there's nothing in there for that then, right?
There's not.
Okay.
We can that's running through our speakers, so I'll hear right. So we have that individual control to do that. If we wanted to turn it up, I'm not sure if there'd be feedback, but,
It's about as high as it can go right now.
okay.
Right.
But it boils down to just getting closer to the microphones. But I think there's something in the works for that though too, improving the microphones too.
Yep.
These
Anybody else?
microphones you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Because they'd be
We can make it
wireless.
citizen comment. We're sticking with board comment at this point for
Yeah.
discussion. All right, so are you in favor of expanding the video side of this? Because if you are, then I'll go ahead and approve this. But I wanted the input.
I would.
Okay,
And it would be like a camera up in that direction and one in this direction. And,
Yes.
and when we're talking with the hearing disabled, that's not included in there. That's why
No,
I
that's a
get.
separate thing.
That's a separate issue. Yeah. Okay.
we're working on that for Lee Scott, and it's a challenge with the age of some of our equipment, to say the least. All right, well
Michael?
then,
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
We used to rent the room out to groups to do presentations, and they used the facility in the closet and the screen, et cetera. They used to have to plug the computer in the ground. Does any of this, would that aid in that type of presentation? Does it bring us up to the speed that we need to be able to do a presentation other than a Zoom meeting?
Absolutely. Yeah, anything in this room, it would look very high quality online
Are you-
for streaming. It's strictly for streaming from the room.
Okay, okay.
Are you saying renting the equipment to what?
Well, I'm
Organization?
just trying to think back. We talked about doing some renovations in the room. We talked about a new camera system, blah, blah, and it seems like maybe this doesn't address that particular issue. So if I had a computer and I wanted to do a presentation, like at UTLA, they had guest speakers, and they did presentations, and they brought their own computers with their own, is that system going to help us in any way?
No, this would be strictly for streaming.
Okay,
It's not really meant to
No.
tie into computer systems except for the purpose of streaming.
okay,
I can
okay.
help you with that, Kat. The projector is the thing that we would have to change. It would be a new
that thing up
projector,
there?
and that would give us a much higher quality on the screen.
Okay,
And it's somewhere between 1 and 2,000
for a new projector.
for a new for the type of projector that you're thinking of for the quality.
Okay,
I mean, unfortunately, one of the things that I thought about for the projectors, like at our annual meeting for the budget,
right,
I could run it on the screen. The
Right.
problem is we have the screen cut in off 25% of the room, so it makes it a little difficult to use. And, I'm not sure I want to spend a couple $1,000s on a new projector at this point. We hardly ever use that thing.
okay.
All right, Mike, thank you. All right, board, thank you for your input on that. The third item, Sharon, you want to talk about your discussion with Bill and myself on the cemetery extension?
Well, I'm not sure exactly. We had a discussion about cemetery. And the discussion was, our new section is quickly being bought. And we have the back section, which is 13 acres, approximately 13 acres in the back. That somewhere along the line, the next year or two, or sooner perhaps, the board needs to look at putting monies away in the budget for starting a phase 1, phase 2, perhaps getting to the point of upgrading that back part of the cemetery that we're going to be, because it's not going to be done overnight. The cemetery is going to take a while to develop. Even the new section we had took a lot of tree clearing, excavation, mapping out, so forth. So Gary Mortensen had projected that we start looking at that new section in the back. It's going to take a phase. Probably the first phase would be clearing out the trees that are back there. And that could take a while. And the next phase would be leveling and And then there's also the seeding and mapping. There's a lot to do with that. The other problem I have, and I haven't done it because I didn't do it yet, but I would like to, even perhaps maybe the next board meeting, is perhaps maybe put a moratorium to stop selling those new graves in the new section or any of the part of the cemetery to outside non-township residents until we get a new ordinance done. We're getting a lot of sales coming through that are like 8, 10 grave sites that are not all township residents, yet they're paying township resident fees because maybe one person might have a lot. They don't live here in township, but they might have a lot or something in Torch Township. It's kind of been a thorn on my side, selling these grave sites for such a cheap price. And I know Gary Mortensen says there's getting more and more cemeteries around Antrim County that are getting full. So they're looking to come to Torch Lake Township and for the price we have. So I may be putting moratorium out to stop selling them for at least out of township residents until that ordinance gets done. The ordinance is a high priority on my list right now to get done. And I hope I have the support of the board to do that. But that's part of the discussion we talked about.
So do you want us to include estimates of, sounds like there's 3 phases. Phase 1, the trees, 2, clearing the stumps, and then 3, preparation of the property. And I think Bill also brought up the fact that we had to make sure that we don't have water issues back there.
Right.
So do we want to put in the budget then for 2022, 1, 2, or 3 pieces of that? I'll let you guys decide, but I think that's part of my point is, as far as the discussion, do we want to put this in the budget?
I think so. I think we need to start. We need to start there. The monies right now, that every sale that we have goes 80% general fund, 20% into the cemetery fund, which cannot be touched or used. MTA suggests that is an old practice that should not be existent anymore. So the new ordinance that I'm going to work on is 100% of that money from the sales of any cemetery lot will go to the general fund to take care of that cemetery and its needs. We could use the interest from that fund. Right now, there's no interest monies in there. So, and in the past, we used a little bit of the interest money to buy like a new lawnmower back there or part of the fencing that we did back there. But there's no interest in that fund anymore. So it's there. So that's going to be part of and then once I've kind of put an ordinance together, I want Gary Mortensen to look at it. I want MTA to help me look at it. They've already helped me work on some of it. This is a project we started a few years back. I've gone to more cemetery classes and I've got tons of material. Cemeteries have changed a lot in the years. There's so many new types of things and cemetery gardens, and I can't even tell you half of what's going on in a cemetery anymore compared to what it had been years past. But we do need to look, we need to start. Bill did a tremendous, great job of getting the trees trimmed out there. You can actually drive the roads without scratching your cars up. Thank you, Bill. That was a good project to get done. That was high priority in my aspect of it. But it's a matter of a plan. So we have to get a plan. Maybe even a subcommittee can help work on this or to get it in phases. Gary Mortensen, I'm sure his staff, Gary himself will help, guide us along also. But
All right, well, give us an update next month on how you're
does
going.
Bill have any more to add to that? Because do you have any more to add to what I was saying, Bill?
No, it's just basically, it's going to be 3 phases to develop it, and it's just going to be how much the board can or wants to allocate per budget year to see this through. It's money well spent, it's money the township will get back as soon as it's developed and sales are opened back up. because there's not much room left in our cemetery yet. We're sitting on almost a full 13 acres that could be sold, but we've got to spend the money to develop it and get it surveyed so that then we could list it.
Right. The new cemetery that all the classes I've gone to, you have a name on a grave site. You sell a lot, you're gonna put a name to that. Now there's no names on anything. One person can walk in and they're buying 10 graves with no names on it. So somewhere down the line, it could be a child, and who knows if they'll keep it. It's just, it needs to be tightened up a lot. So that's kind of where I'm at.
All right, very good.
Hey Sharon, how much is the plot?
Township residents are $200.
Non-residents are $800.
People are coming in here buying 8 at a time?
Yes, they are. And they're paying.
$200.
And they're paying $800 for them also.
Not very many.
I haven't
All
even
right.
thought about it. I guess I better start thinking about something like that.
That price is gonna go up, Jason. Trust me, that price is gonna go up.
All right, folks, we'll move on to item number 4 for board discussion. I asked Sarah to give the board a quick heads up. We're going to be getting something from the Antrim County based on the moratorium that we put on in November, or actually in September, and we had 90 days. That's expired. So how did the planning commission proceed?
So I included the language that's at the county right now for the village business district and the commercial district. And I just wanted to get it in front of you, get your eyes on it so that you know that it's coming. No action tonight while we wait for Antrim County. But what the planning commission did is they worked on some language that changes both to the village business and the commercial district related to landscaping requirements, maximum lot coverage and impervious surface requirements, some facade requirements, and dumpster screening. So right now in our zoning ordinance, we don't have any landscaping requirements. You know, we don't require the dumpsters to be screened at all, or maximum lot coverage. And the facade requirements, which this is one that's gone back and forth and actually spent quite a bit of time on it, as proposed would be the face of the building that fronts on the road would need to be of quality materials that are stones, bricks, something other than steel. In appearance, you can put steel on the other 3 sides, but the front side needs to be something a little nicer looking, I guess, than a pole barn. I know there's some steel products out there that don't look like a pole barn, but trying to write that into a language, into an ordinance is difficult. And the planning commission is going to come back to this item in the future to look at it. But for now, to try to get some language in effect because of the moratorium, and the moratorium is up.
Susan. Thank you. Go ahead, Sarah.
Because the moratorium is also up, the planning commission wanted to try to get some language in front of the board as soon as possible. So there's landscaping, which has to do with some foundation plantings right around the building to require landscaping there, some landscaping out by the road of native species, which there's a little discussion about native species currently in the zoning ordinance, but it really doesn't expand on that or tell you how to find native species. So we're referencing a specific document that's local that will help applicants to find the type of plantings that we would like to see here. We also currently don't have any lot coverage requirements. So essentially someone could come in and cover their whole lot. This is a bigger issue potentially in the village business because they're smaller lot sizes. So you could have a building and then parking. They'd have to maintain their stormwater on site, but there's also ways to do that that would make it so you could cover a lot of the property. So this is something that's just looking at helping with stormwater runoff, providing a little bit more green space on the property for those maximum lot coverages. Something that's specific to the village business district is the size of the structures for the uses. The planning commission is proposing that any of the uses, if they are 3,000 square feet or less, are a site plan review. So that's just planning commission review, no public hearing. Anything that would go into a building that's 3,000 square foot or larger would require a special use permit. So that's got a public hearing. There's a little bit more discretion involved in that. So special use permits are saying this use fits in this district, but it may be more appropriate in certain locations within the district. You don't have to necessarily approve them everywhere. You'd want to look at impacts on the neighborhoods, if it's compatible with surrounding properties, as well as, traffic and the road concerns with that. So that's some new language that the Planning Commission, again, talked about quite a bit, trying to figure out what that square footage requirement looks like. Right now, it talks about if it's larger than 15,000 square feet. So it is quite a difference, but it's not necessarily removing the uses, it's just the approval process. So right now, it talks about if it's over 15,000 square, or I guess I should say the other way, if it's under 15,000 square feet and it's a retail use, it just goes through site plan review, which can be a large building, it can be quite substantial. In looking at that, you can look at Eastport Market, that's around 15,000 square feet. And not to say that, that's wrong or bad, but just we may not want that everywhere in our village business or in our commercial zoning districts. So that's where that 3,000 square feet, and then in the commercial district, they changed it to 6,000 is the cutoff. So the uses, if they're 6,000 or less, would be site plan review. And then if they're over, would be a special use permit for the uses that are listed in the ordinance. And a lot of the uses, in fact, I'm not sure we took out any of the uses that were already there or really changed uses. It more had to do with the size of the building and which approval process they went through. So I don't know if anybody has any questions or concerns. I'm here kind of to answer those so that when it comes up in front of you in January, you're feeling kind of comfortable with the language.
Any questions, board? If not, thank you, Sarah. All right, that takes care of board discussion. The next item is items for informational purposes only. I will get through those quickly. Jerry, huh? Number one, what? Huh? No, that got moved down to 4. That's the previous, pre-Monday. All right. First item is Jerry Kolka sent the board a note related to short-term rental legislation that is currently under review at the state capitol. I urge the citizens to write to the various elected officials expressing your opinion on this subject. Since the bill is now in limbo for a couple of months, it is important to make your voices heard. I do not believe that the board needs to send a note to those or to these elected officials, but if someone wants to add it as an agenda item for board action next month, we can certainly take it up. And I will leave it to each board member to decide if they want to send their own letter with their own opinion, if you are so inclined. The second item, we received notification of potential grant money that our ambulance and fire departments might be eligible for. I've asked our fire chief and ambulance director, Mike Bertram, to pursue these grants for the township, and we will request a follow-up from them at the January meeting. The third item.
That's House Bill 5522.
I don't have the,
Yeah, that was,
it was the one that the
That-
MTA sent out.
that's
to
the one I
us.
sent to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So if anyone wants to look at that, that's House Bill 5522.
And I sent them a copy of it, so they have it.
I mean, our citizens,
Sorry?
if they want to
Well,
look it up.
actually, it's out on the website if they want to go look at it. We received notification of potential grant money related to the water infrastructure. We had a presentation on June 15th, 2021 regarding the Eden Shores water supply issues by Casey Clement of Northwest Michigan Health Department. I'm asking who on the board would be willing to take this on to follow up and see what forms might be required and to work with Casey. Anybody on the board interested in doing that?
Ellen Martell.
We could appoint Alan, but I won't do that to Alan. All right, so I will open it up to the community. Anybody out there in the audience interested in working on that project?
Keep your hand down.
I know. Mr. Spencer, I think your arm just got broke.
Veronica might be interested in working with
Who?
somebody.
Who would? All right. I will also then put something out on the website in my January newsletter and see if anybody else joins you. All right, the fourth item, Tom Joseph brought to my attention an item which I included the emails in your packages. However, we could not make the meeting, he couldn't make the meeting and is really unclear what is being asked for the township to do. Therefore, we will put this on the board discussion for the January meeting, and hopefully I'll receive more information from Tom, and Tom will be able to attend the meeting. That concludes that section of our agenda. We can move to citizen comment, and I know a couple people were raising their hands, so if you would fill out a form. Jerry, you don't have to. We got a form on you already. Susan, you want to make a comment? You need to come up to the mic, please.
Concerning the rentals, I have understand that is not going through. There was a vote, and the vote was, did not make it through last week. So the rentals is not going through in the House.
Oh, good.
So they said if it didn't make it through the House, it will not make it through the Senate
Fantastic.
on the rentals.
All right.
So that.
It's been on and off for a number of times. It's not to say it won't come back again.
I'm just
Yeah,
telling you, for this session,
Mm-hmm.
it did not make it through the House. If it did not make it through the House,
We-
it will
yeah.
definitely not make it through the Senate.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
But the other thing is, I just have one small question. Sarah, on the land, the commercial land, okay? Let's say if a Walmart wanted to petition to come in here, to zone in here, how would the zoning board feel about that?
What was the question?
Are you wanting me to respond during public comment?
Well,
Yeah,
what's the question? Are you asking
on
for?
the side, a building of that size, coming into this, bringing in that kind of traffic and that kind of,
Well, that's the question.
We can't answer
You
that
can't
question.
answer it until the issue comes up, and right now, there's a different issue that's going on. So
Okay.
I'll be happy to talk to you after the meeting if you want. All right. Bob, I know you raised your hand.
I did, but we've moved past it. What I was going to say has already been discussed. I'm good, thank you.
All right.
could I get your name and at least the address? Yes. 2293 San Marino Trail, Key Wayton. And my name is Susan Mueller. LLER. Thank you.
All right. No others. That's right, Jerry. Come on up. But since you ran over a minute the last time, maybe you're only down to 3 minutes this time?
Well, I thought you would give me a minute because I went over. That's the new
No,
pattern.
I don't think so. 4
Good try.
minutes. Keep
On
it
both
4.
parts. Sorry if my voice sounded shaky before. I'm having some side effects or something, so my voice is kind of, not as dry as what they're trying to say. Anyways, I like the idea of the police officer looking at a subcommittee, maybe get it on to find out what the community really wants on it. Do they want to support somebody to that level or not? Hear up and down, issues on it. One question that I had, I don't know if I heard you right. The police officer would not go out with the zoning administrator or would that still be an option?
No, it would not. We now have an ordinance enforcement
Okay, so
officer
you'll
that
keep
runs
this
with.
ordinance. Okay,
Right.
somebody will go, because that would be my concern, Jackie
Right.
goes out, or
Yep.
Sarah too, if it's a tough situation.
Two different jobs, and that also, in my opinion, takes Bob out of the hot seat at the day park.
Okay, yeah, no, I understand what you're saying there. That's why when I heard that, I thought you meant no one would be going with them, or with her.
Nope.
So, good, thank you for clarifying that. The second thing is, I really support the YouTube activity going on. There've been a couple of times I was at home, I'm not feeling that good, so I was watching it that way, so it keeps me informed what's going on, especially the Planning Commission. For some reason, I have some interest in that still. And so therefore, I think that's very good. Money spent to improve the quality, to see who's speaking here, and for the projection and recording of it would be good for the video. So I just wanted to put my support in that. And I'm glad to hear what's going on, and went back. I still think it's important whenever something occurs again to find out where the board stands and to make some official letters going to it. I encourage a lot of people, and I got the information out as much as possible. And someone wants to know many websites, or they want to know more information. I got many articles on it. It's one of the things that I think is very detrimental to the community. I lived in Sedona, Arizona for a while during the wintertime, and the people there tell me how bad it is. It's not the mom and pop store that's buying up the place, it's corporations with only half a dozen different homes, and they're renting it, making 38% return on their money, and the traffic's bad, and they can't get volunteers anymore. Community is actually losing population. Sedona was only 11,000, units. Other than the rest was rental people going through the area. So there's a lot of problems with short-term rentals. See one other point here. Okay. That's it. Thank you, sir.
Jerry.
I'm under 4 minutes.
Barely.
Did all right.
All right.
Barely, but all right.
Yeah, I just thought I would mention, I go to all the Banks Township meetings too, and the last few meetings, they've been talking about cemeteries and extra police. And so I say that because I think collaboration may be an answer here. So I know your minutes are very detailed, Banks Township minutes are very, very detailed. I know the clerk, the supervisor, Sharon knows everybody, so I would just throw out collaboration. Maybe Banks and Torch Lake could do something together. At the county level, we're having a hard time keeping full staff at police. For our sheriff, we got it fully funded in the budget to be at full staff, but it seems like we hire a couple and then we lose a couple. So I think that's kind of the backdrop behind why we don't have at the county level, we don't have a lot of extra beyond emergency right now. And I think that's what's generating the talk in the townships. You don't see somebody from the county sitting patrolling for speed or, just a police presence. Just, yep, there was a law enforcement. And I don't know if that's the backstory behind it or not, but I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know if it's going to be easier, if it's more desirable for a police officer who would want to work for a township than he would for a county. Or are we going to be competing against each other? I don't know. I'm just talking.
Are you referring to Banks Township or Ellsworth Village?
So Ellsworth Village has their own part-time police officer.
So you're
And
referring to the township?
And she also does ordinance work. And the township was talking about hiring either her or someone else part-time beyond that. All of Banks Township. I mean, the village of Ellsworth is inside Banks
Right, right.
Township, but
I didn't know if you were speaking of one or the other, so you clarified my question. Okay. Yeah.
Thanks, Darius. Judy.
Yeah, Judy Kulka on San Marino Trail. I want to talk a little bit about voice projection during this meeting. I'd like you all to listen to, reflect upon our commissioner. I could hear him very well. He spoke up into the microphone, but I have difficulty hearing a lot of what goes on at this table. So I think maybe if you put your microphones closer to your mouth or something, maybe I would be able to hear it better. So just a thought. And what does our expert over there think? Solutions what?
On its way, Judy.
The solution is
Solutions on its way.
All right.
Well, look at Jason's microphone. Do you pull that down to
He's all
speak
done.
though, right? Yes.
All right, folks. No more board comment. Kathy, I'll start with you.
I wanted to go back, I didn't want to go back per se, but the fire report. Our fire chief included a wonderful photo of this brand new fire hose that we have, and it's pretty cool. So I'm just bringing attention to the fact that we have brand new fire hose in place, and it was not cheap, and I'm glad we have it.
All right. Sharon?
Just a reminder that dog licenses are still available at the township or on the website or by mail. That's a thing I always push. We have them until February 28th. And if you did not receive your tax bill for the 2021 winter, be sure to let me know. I haven't, we've had a few that were returned back to me. No mail receptacles. I don't know if they're just knocked down or gone or whatever, but anyway, I think, and the only other thing I wanted to say is Merry Christmas to one and all, and let's hope for a good 2022. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, Jason.
Yeah, I haven't seen you guys in so long. So the day before Thanksgiving, my son decided to bake a bunch of cookies and used up all of our brown sugar. So on Thanksgiving Day, we had no brown sugar for our sweet potatoes or our rutabaga. On that day, I was very grateful for the Dollar General because that was the only place open and they had brown sugar.
Where did you find the Dollar General?
Which one? Yeah, which one?
There's an Ellsworth one too.
Okay.
There's an Ellsworth one.
You never
Rapid
know what
City.
you're going to hear out of board comment, you know? I'm serious. you
Wondered
know?
where it was going. Didn't you wonder where
I
it was going?
I wondered, you know, I was waiting for the deer getting shot in the backyard or something.
Oh, I
you know?
got hit
All
by a
right.
deer last night.
I've got a couple of things. One, Jerry, related to your comment, I don't think the board has done anything to try to diminish the ULTA or UTLA. When you made that comment, I didn't quite understand if you were trying to infer that we were trying to put an end to that group, but certainly that's not the extent. Yeah, well, I'm getting used to rumors, and I would prefer, as I've mentioned a number of times, when you hear a rumor about the township and the township governance, call me, because otherwise you come up and you make a statement like that and it's inappropriate. All right? But that's fine.
There wasn't anybody on the board, I can say that,
All right.
but we had that misunderstanding.
Well, Jerry, if you've never made a mistake, stand up.
I said,
All right, so let's just move on. All right, second thing is, we have good news. Our ambulances all passed the AOS tests, both, well, at least the main one. The second one is at the basic level, but I think they both can operate at AOS when the main one is out.
Right, you can transfer the equipment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
And our primary ambulance is back in service 2 days ago, Monday, right? Yay. And we did get our lift, our ambulance, our cot lift for the backup, and it's going to be installed in January, first week of January. So we will have both ambulances good and equipped, and they can change off as needed back and forth to keep these two ambulances in there in good shape. So, yeah, thank you. I'm sorry, Bob, to
I-
interrupt.
I'm sharing my time with you.
All right.
The last one is our
I
license.
get excited when I see these things here.
The license for EMS ambulance squad is good now through December 31st of 2022. So kudos to our ambulance team and keeping that top notch for this township. With that said, I would like to wish everybody a happy holiday, a great new year, and a Merry Christmas from Rita and I. And with that, I move we adjourn. Do I have a second?
Do I have a second? I'll second.
Do you want a second?
No.
Oh, all right, you're done with your comments. All those in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The meeting's adjourned.
I was gonna say, this is my 1-year anniversary. I wanted some cake.
Oh,
Well, if it's yours, it's mine, and I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
get one either.
Yeah, that's true.
not December, it's January, it's January.
First meeting,
Was it?
December, yeah, both of us. That was my first meeting.